All right, you guys, we're here in the studio, podcast studio, episode number 2. Believe it or not, second episode. We're bringing on one of my best second shooters. Here we go. You're listening to Behind the Lens with Colby and Elizabeth, wedding photographers and cinematographer, business owners, and your new favorite podcast couple.
We were supposed to have Doug on, but unfortunately he caught the flu. That's usually my go-to second shooter as of the last couple years. So shout out to Doug. He will be on soon.
We miss you, Doug. Wish you were here.
All right. So how did you feel about our last episode?
Episode 1 was definitely nerve-wracking. Episode 2, still a little nerve-wracking, but I feel like we're here to have fun.
Yeah.
We're here to build an audience. We're here to bring
real.
people on. So I'm excited. I feel like number 1 went pretty well. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we did good? Like
I said, we're new. It's a learning curve for us. We're trying to, be transparent and be educational and be,
real,
inspiring. So
keeping it real.
keeping it real.
So yeah, I feel like it went good. We chimed in a little bit on what we were going to do over the weekend, and we went and checked out a wedding venue, ranch at Stony Creek. Shout out to Michelle.
We love you guys.
And Leon, you guys gave us a great tour,
Yeah.
and we actually settled. I think we picked our wedding venue,
Contracts were sent to us, so we just need to sign it and pay the money.
pay the money, put down that deposit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we picked a wedding date and we got a venue. So
It got the ball rolling for sure. It made me start putting a Pinterest board together, and we're contacting other vendors and stuff like that.
exactly. So the ball has been officially rolled.
Yeah.
And stay tuned to the end, and we're gonna drop our wedding date. But you have to watch till the end to figure that out. So yeah, funny thing, we went and viewed this venue, Ranch at Stony Creek. I kind of knew it was the venue when we first went up there.
Yeah.
I've shot there 3 times, once a styled shoot, 2 weddings. And for each of those weddings, I had a second shooter, and his name was Anthony Manzanilla. And he's been, a second shooter for a long time.
For a really long
Anthony,
time,
welcome
yeah.
to the podcast.
Hey, that's me.
Hello,
Hi, guys.
hello.
Hello. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to come and do this.
Absolutely. I'm excited and nervous.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the club, man.
It'll pass, hopefully.
Yeah.
So how long have we known each other? How did we meet?
If I'm remembering correctly, I think it's been close to 7 years,
7
I
years.
believe, around that time. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Started with me hiring you for a music video for myself, and then it kind of grew from there.
Okay.
So it started out with that, and then that was right when I was first starting my videography business or starting my career as a videographer. And you brought me on to do a wedding, and it ended up being a lot of fun. And from there, I grew to be, I think, your primary editor for the next 3 years following, if I'm remembering
So
correctly.
you did
Second
also
shooter
editing,
and my main
okay.
editor,
Yeah.
for a long time.
Led to a lot of good times, a lot of business growth, and meeting one of the most inspirational and hardworking guys that I've met in this industry so far. So it's been good.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
See, a lot of people say that about you. Even when I was searching for a videographer, I was like, who's this Colby guy? And then they're like, said all these cool things about him. It's like I was almost falling for him before even actually meeting him.
So did
Yeah.
I. So did I.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, they have a romance going on. I can't get in between it. Although the day I met him is also the day I met you too.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. You were my second shooter.
Which wedding was that?
Oh gosh.
I think it was in Brentwood or somewhere
I remember it was in Brentwood.
down that
It
way.
was like for me one of my first big weddings after the whole micro weddings that people were having because of COVID.
Were you doing photo? We were doing video.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. It was it was the wedding when they had that really special butterfly release.
Oh yeah.
Vaguely remember.
And
you remember?
We need, we
And-
should have B-roll of some of these shots.
That's what Colby was talking
There
about,
is
yeah.
no butterfly release because
Because they
the
died.
Butterflies died.
That happened?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I remember that
They opened the
moment.
thing and
I was looking at Kathleen because I was her second, and I looked over and I was like, is that supposed to happen? And she's like, no, I think they're dead. I was like, they died? And then I realized they left him in this box because I
In the
saw that
heat,
shoe
right in the
box
sun.
for a
was just gonna
while
ask if it was
with no
summertime.
holes in it.
I was there. I don't know how I remember didn't remember the butterflies dying.
The butterflies, yeah.
It's terrible.
They all went,
Better than a bunch of dead doves, I guess, if you could choose.
Right.
I mean, both pretty terrible, but
Right.
that'd be really sad
I
for the
just,
kids.
on a different note, like if you're gonna do butterflies or birds or like something, like most of the time, I've never seen them like go very well.
I've seen a dove release
Yeah.
and it was nice.
Okay.
Tip for you guys' upcoming wedding.
I've seen one where like the bird just didn't move; it just landed.
They're like trying to shoo it
Yeah,
out.
they're like, and then the butterflies. So I don't know. Maybe I just had bad.
Then you look at the
experiences.
dove person. I'm getting my money back, right?
So just make sure they know what they're doing, and don't suffocate your butterflies.
Yeah. Well, you're here. How's it feeling now? You feeling still nervous?
Oh yeah, but I'm sure it'll pass in the next couple of minutes. We just have to talk about some crazy stories and some things to lighten the mood, I think.
Okay.
And then
Let's
we'll
talk
get
about some crazy stories, man. So you have accompanied me on a lot of weddings.
A lot of weddings, and not
sir.
even just weddings, because we've also done other work with you too, with
lot
me
of
being involved.
business
before.
promo.
Yeah.
I mean, we've worked for ex Super Bowl 49ers players.
Yeah.
The
Right.
governor, I think, for some of
So
our
you guys
shoots,
have done multiple
right?
jobs,
When they were
yeah.
promoting the Hyatt.
Yeah.
So we've done, I mean, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So,
And
That's
I
one thing I
remember
love.
shooting some birthday parties with him too.
oh yeah.
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 One thing I love about being creatives is it kind of just takes you everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
not like stuck in an office 9 to 5 or doing the
No.
same thing. Like I've done so many different cool things.
And you meet a lot of different people
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
That's one thing I love about
Mhm.
being a creative entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You feel me? And getting paid to travel. Somebody pay me to travel. I'll take pictures anywhere. Just pay me.
Destination shoots.
Yeah.
I've done one.
Yeah. I wanted to do a lot more of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like literally a bucket list job if you can do one. Yeah. So how
Well-
did you exactly like start off? And
With
you,
the
like
videography
yeah,
business?
videography or just getting into it, knowing that you wanted to kind of do it.
So before I got my videography license, before I got my business license, I mean, I was doing just various music videos and smaller gigs. Before Colby had brought me on, that's really when I kind of fell in love with doing the business shoots, the wedding shoots,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's probably one of the more rewarding type of shoots that you can do.
Okay.
We play such an important role in the couple's, happiness, how their day goes.
Yeah.
In a sense, we're kind of bossing them around throughout the day. So I feel like so much kind of lies on us to make sure everything goes smooth. They have
Yeah,
a good
because you're
time.
kind of
they're
the
happy.
coordinator a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, because as we all know, I think, a wedding, it's a contrast. It's a beautiful day. It's one of the most important days for the clients, but it's also could be one of the most stressful. So I honestly think that Kobe's been one of the best at that. So his energy and everything he brings to the clients on their wedding, how much fun he's having.
That's something
Just-
I noticed for sure too when I
using-
first worked with him.
Is it
Yeah.
inflection or inflection in his voice? Just playing around with the clients
Energy,
and
the
having-
vibe. Yeah.
I think that's one of the
Buttering your biscuits.
Oh yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things I think that people would want to refer to him for. It's just his energy that he brings to the shoots. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we kind of derailed there about. So what crazy stories do you two have?
There's been a couple.
Because obviously there's probably someone I never even came into the picture yet.
Yeah, I think one of the most beautiful weddings we did was also one of the craziest, and that's one where we did an elopement in Monitor Pass. And we also have some good behind the scenes videos for that as well.
That one was super unique.
Yes.
And the scenery, we're literally like, we didn't know what to expect. We pull up, they're getting their bikes out of the van. So basically you got this couple and they're going to bicycle, was it like 20 miles?
I think it was at least that much, yeah.
Something crazy to the top of like
They're
Monitor
bicyclists?
Pass. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like me and this fool.
Pedal bikes too. Then
Yeah, pedal bikes,
Not on motorized
literally.
bikes,
No,
literally.
yeah. Those like really thin tire type of bikes.
Yeah, and they were a little bit of an older couple,
sure
like,
if there's some
60s,
people-
Yeah, they're pretty
mid
old.
60s. They were beasts. Yeah,
Rode
Very
all the way
inspirational.
up, but we basically documented their whole trip up the mountain with drone. We were driving next to them, hanging out the car with the gimbal, sitting in the trunk, following them.
This is their wedding
sorts
day?
of stuff.
Yeah,
There was one
Wait.
point where there was this huge downhill spot and my drone wouldn't keep up with them. And so I wanted a shot from behind, and this fool got on the hood of my car with dress shoes,
a full Ronin M, double
Ronin
handed.
Yeah,
M,
because you
and
guys
just-
always dress really nice for weddings.
It was
Like,
it was
almost-
freezing too. So what you couldn't
Yeah.
see is while I'm on the hood, just holding on for dear life. Like my eyes are watering.
No, he wasn't holding on to the hood because he was holding his
Yeah,
camera.
both-
He was
both
literally
hands. You're
like
like-
just
reclining back.
Engaging your core just so
Yeah.
you don't
Seriously.
fall.
And he was you were pushing. I felt like you were pushing 40 or 50.
it was at least 50.
My eyes were watering. It was freezing cold.
He can't hear me. He's just
It
like
got a little sketchy, but it was worth it. And we got
No
some
headsets yet?
No headsets.
no headsets.
That was before the headset era. Good times.
Okay, so pro tip: if you're a lead shooter and you have second shooters, or you're working with a team, having headsets so you can communicate is bar none one of the best investments I've ever made. Because how many times have you been on this side of the ceremony and you're like
Trying to get the other
trying to
person's
get a hold
attention.
of your
yeah.
or
Or and if you get the photographers too, like, you know, you give them
Dude.
some, and then the videographers and the assistants, like it does help. Although I think Anthony and I have shit talked about it with our glasses because it is
operator
not
error.
fun
You
wearing
guys suck.
with it with glasses.
Headsets are great.
But
Yeah. It's either that or, you know, no sign language, or both. Headsets and sign language are
yeah,
bad.
so we like the headsets, but yeah, I feel like wearing glasses it can get a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's definitely the downside for sure. Because we end up looking like
Deal
this.
with it.
Yeah,
for, like,
right. And
half
it's
the
like you're
shoot.
trying to fix
Of course,
it.
Colby has
Yeah.
no sympathy there, but we both know the struggle. So
And then it's funny because one wedding we did, I think it was the October one at the Stony Creek one, ranch one, where you took your headset off and you would tell us all throughout the wedding, don't take your headset off, don't take your headset off. And we're doing cake. And I'm like literally
Where the
saying,
hell is Colby?
where's Colby? Where's Colby?
I took my headset off.
I had to get on like, they had this like uphill grass area and I had to get up there. And I'm like, oh, he's sitting over there talking to one.
Sitting down with the mustache guy.
And I'm
and
like,
if he does come back, he's usually like hopping back into the scene with
Yeah.
his camera with a lot of energy, so he makes up for it.
but I'm like, if we can't find him, I was like, Anthony, you got to do the cake.
Oops.
So the headsets are legit if you wear them all day.
Yeah, I
All
totally
the time.
tell my team, like, if you're gonna take your headset off, please announce it into the headset so
Yeah.
that we know. And I totally didn't do that.
And they're
Where
just
the hell
like
is Colby?
getting ready to cut it. And I was like, do not cut that cake.
That's funny.
Yeah, the monitor pass one was one of my favorites. Some of my favorite.
That sounds
drone shots,
crazy.
too.
Yeah.
We'll roll some of the footage too for you guys
I
so
want
you
to
can
see that
see.
footage because I don't think I've ever saw
Great
it.
behind the scenes video. That's when I was still doing a lot of behind the scenes for him as well. And that was a lot of fun.
Like during the BTS and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Dude, literally,
multitasking.
right when we were done with the ceremony, or as the ceremony's happening, like behind us was this black clouds and it started thundering and lightning. And literally, like right when we were done, I remember it started like to sprinkle and they like raced down the fucking mountain.
Yeah, they went up and down.
Okay, so that was like
Well,
part of their day. They
Yeah,
go
they
up this
biked to
mountain
the
and
top,
down.
did the elopement.
Yeah,
and
met
then
their family
right
who
back
had like
down.
a SUV and they built like this little thing.
It's like a Jewish themed wedding, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's cool,
Remember
though.
the
was really
stomping of the
cool.
glass? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is like the Jewish.
But literally at the
culture.
top of a mountain and like the scenery was just amazing.
Yeah.
Didn't they not have the
is that?
spot picked out? Did they
They
search
had a
for the
spot,
live
but the
and then-
tractors were there.
Ah, yeah.
Where
That was
the-
right
the
at
monitor
Monitor
pass,
Pass,
yeah.
where we made a pit stop. I'm trying to think of some other crazy things that happened.
The when I got my drone stuck in that tree, we were shooting the Greek wedding.
I'm trying to remember.
don't
I'm
know.
thinking of my own drone crash things that happened. I almost
Like, do I
killed
want to
like
even share those?
yeah, I
stories?
almost killed like 6 quince court clients, like little 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. Yeah, we were in front of a college and I was flying my drone over and trying to get a good shot behind the college building. And I hit a tree. It went upside down and it's coming straight for their head. And then right before it landed, it just flipped on its own. I was like, oh my God. I thought it was over. Like I thought that was it. It flipped back over. I was like, thank God.
Now, is
Maybe
this
just
like a
continue.
job that where you were kind of the lead and the main guy?
Yes, I've been the lead on I think 90% of my quinces. I think
Yeah.
Colby started implementing those a little bit later, but he brought in like a ton of weddings for us, and that was for sure like his thing
Yeah.
for a while. And I got a lot of my quinces through some other great colleagues of mine that
Yeah.
do really well with that too. So
That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool.
Some more crazy stories.
we got the ones we can't tell,
Yeah.
but we'll leave those out, or will we?
I mean,
You can't say you're being real and transparent and then keep those stories out. The only thing you
That
should
is
keep
kinda
out are
true.
names. Just don't mention the people's weddings, like the names of the weddings, if you remember it.
So you guys met. We were doing video. You were doing photo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I was the
that's how you
second
guys met.
shooter. Yeah,
So that's videographer and photography relationships.
I think that was like
But has there
2020. Yeah,
Ever been any relationships with videography team and maybe the
the bridesmaid.
yeah.
Not for me.
guilty.
Too personal?
No, I mean he's a good-looking guy. Who wouldn't want to like get a piece of that if you're a bridesmaid and you're drunk and you're feeling yourself? You
Orlando
know?
Bloom. Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
I
Pirates
see it now.
Pirates of the
I can't
Caribbean
unsee it.
vibes. Pirates of the
Cannot
Caribbean
unsee it.
vibes.
Although we've done one wedding where I think I was just assisting you, maybe second shooting, and it was at the what's that venue up at Folsom, Lake Natoma, where it's a hotel in a
Lake Natoma Inn.
yeah. And there was
Yeah.
this really like tall bridesmaid, and she was just like, "You're really good looking," and like, "Are you spoken for?" She kept like dropping little like flirty hints, and I was like, "This bitch doesn't even know that I'm standing in the room." But at the same time, I don't think they knew we were together. And then you turn around and you're like, "That's my girl right there."
Was I at that one? Because that sounds
No, I think he was just doing
We were doing
photo.
photo, yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen bridesmaids get
I
out
think
of
they
it.
have
Gosh,
flirted
that's
a lot.
when I
That's why.
felt. Okay, so
Sounds
I was.
Oh yeah, that's when we felt.
Standing on a table, and the table legs underneath are super narrow. Okay, and the tabletop is wider, and so I put my weight towards the edge, and the whole table went like this, and I fell, and hit
Yeah.
my elbow so hard, dude. Oh my gosh, I broke my flash
It's funny you're
in
talking
front
about.
of the mom, in front of the bride, in front of the bridesmaids.
Okay, the mom
like,
did tell you, "Hey, be careful,
careful. I
standing
was like,
up
I do
there."
this all the time.
Yeah.
Boom.
I remember there was another wedding we did. Actually, that was one of my favorites too. In front of the mansion. I don't know the name of the mansion, but you almost got taken out on that one too.
Dude, no, that's when I had to get.
You were
stitched.
also going
Jeez.
backwards, right? And you ripped a
you
big
told me
chunk of
that
your
one-
leg
about that
out.
one.
Dude, that was the
That was pretty
worst. That
bad.
was the
What is that venue
There
called
was,
again?
was
the
there bone?
governor's mansion.
Was there bone showing or
Yeah.
was it?
I
Not?
thought there was bone,
I mean,
but
looked
it was
pretty
like the
close to
white
it.
meat in your shin, and
Yeah.
literally.
So you're getting close to
So
them.
another pro tip: if you're gonna walk backwards, all you gotta do is this. That's it. I didn't do that, so I was walking backwards, and I hit this light post, and I tripped over the light post. Was able to spin around and catch myself, but when I did that, I hit the light post with my shin, and it split it open, and it hurt so bad. I just remember like almost like the Family Guy skit where he's like, for days. And I felt like this something running down my leg. So I like lifted up my pant leg and it's literally just like gushing blood.
Yeah, I
So
think
that's when I kind of
yeah.
just found myself on the ground. I got a little.
Do you faint when you
dizzy.
see blood? Like
well,
that?
with how much pain it was,
Oh,
and then there was
yeah.
the blood, and then I saw like the white.
It can kind of make you.
Yeah, but then like the bride and groom like see me
Fatigued
on the
and stuff.
ground.
they were all worried about him that day.
Pant leg rolled up, and there's blood everywhere. They're like, "What happened?" Like, "Oh my gosh!"
You
And,
still have a job to do though.
End up finishing that little section of the shoot, and then going to like Rio Linda or Lincoln
That
or
was one where there was
somewhere.
like 4 or 5 locations. I feel like.
Yeah.
there was a lot.
That's
And,
always
and no, that
fun.
was one of the longest shoots we done because it was for I don't know the right. It was for like a traditional Asian type wedding. So it started out with like fireworks at their front door. We went to
No,
2
that
different
was Alex.
houses.
That was
It's the same one, right?
no.
Oh wait, that was a different one.
That was a
Oh, you're
Hispanic
right.
one.
That was Hispanic. Yeah.
Charlie and that
Charlie and
one
Grace.
and Grace
That
was
was
the
the one.
14-hour.
Yeah, that one was awesome too, though.
Yeah,
We got a
that
lot of
one
cool
was
shots
dope.
for that
Yeah.
one.
When you have that much time, yeah.
Yeah, and totally traditional. I know that's a side quest story, but that one was
No,
probably one of
we
my
want to
favorites,
keep all
too.
those in there.
We haven't done a lot like that.
No.
It was
Well, a
like
lot of
2
people
different
can't afford it
houses. There's
anymore.
fireworks ceremony in
Yeah.
front, and then a lot of different locations. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
I remember showing up to the reception though, and like it was like the grandma was like, "Oh my, like what happened?" I'm like, "You're all bloody. Like sit down, let me help you."
I think what crossed those two is we both went to that same mansion with both of those couples, didn't we?
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah. That's
yeah,
what it
that's what it
was.
was.
So we went to a couple of the same locations. That mansion's beautiful too. Is she? Have you been to
The
that
governor's
same one?
mansion?
Yeah.
I have been not there for a wedding, just location scouting in the past.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've been there again, but I've never like had to go in there.
Yeah,
to
some
do
of
a
my
job or
favorite shots
anything.
were at that location. It's super
Really
pretty.
It's it's a nice place. Like, yeah, if you can have your wedding there at the governor's mansion in Sacramento, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we
a
did
nice
some
spot.
special
Have your wedding
shots
there?
With,
Yeah.
You just do photos there. You don't have your wedding there.
But
You
I've
just
seen
do
people
photos
actually,
there.
I think, have their wedding there. No?
And they do have the big courtyard.
I thought like I've seen like other photographers do it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's them just doing, like you said, the photos there. But
Yeah.
it looked like it was a legit wedding.
yeah, Colby had a little backstory for that one. You remember the cell phone thing? Like he's texting his lady and she comes around the corner, answers, they meet each other.
Oh yeah,
Did
we
a
did
little
like a little
skit.
skit for the wedding
Ah,
video.
That's cool.
Then they have like black and white tile floors or something. It was super pretty. And I did
Yeah.
the edit, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's where.
Yeah, talk it up.
It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
good.
I've seen that one. You definitely got to show me some of your older work, especially with you two. 'cause
Yeah, before I stopped.
You've been his, like,
editing,
main-
I did a a lot of the edits for a
person.
long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Dude, it was Efren and Cindy. That's when we let the other guy edit it. And that's when we kind of went in a different direction.
Yeah,
So you've edited all the way up until then.
I think I did some after that too, didn't I?
I don't know.
I think there was just something with the frame rate for that one that they wanted different. But I'm pretty sure I edited it for you after that too.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah.
You just got really
But
good
I
and
had, yeah,
busy.
I had
You
gotten
couldn't
really
help
busy
anyone.
doing my own thing. I started doing a lot of quinces and a lot of weddings too. So
I want to see
That's
those
when-
music videos.
yeah,
man.
had to delegate some of the tasks.
Music,
Music
videos
videos?
are dope.
Should be releasing them pretty soon.
I hope so.
Have to. It's been way too long.
Yeah, we'll link your info in the caption area so that way people can check your stuff out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be
I
cool.
think
Very
there's
talented artist.
about 170 videos on my business page.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
pretty decent portfolio.
hmm
Yeah.
I don't think I've really checked out your stuff. I think he has shown me where you used his house once for one of his music videos or your music
Yeah,
videos.
yeah,
I
for the
mean.
music
Yeah.
videos. For those, I don't have as much content, but for just like the videography business stuff, there's like
Yeah.
over 170.
Yeah,
videos,
especially
so
for
that's-
quinceañeras. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
show those off
Yeah, for sure.
because you've done a lot of those.
Have you put anything on YouTube?
No.
Not yet.
We started our new
We're on it
YouTube
now.
channel
Yeah.
with our
yeah,
first
for just,
episode.
Yeah, just behind the lens has been on there. Yeah.
Ooh.
Nothing. I mean, I'm sure some of my dance stuff is trickled somewhere on
Okay.
YouTube, but not like my photography stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about in our last episode how being a second shooter is just part of the game of learning, in the industry, regardless if you're doing photo, video, because you have to start learning from somewhere, right? And we've talked about how like sometimes you get paid for it, sometimes, and if you're first starting out, you didn't get paid for it. So what do you think you learned, especially when you first started out as a second shooter?
Well, I mean, kind of what you said when I first, started out, I didn't have very much of a portfolio.
Right.
So I was still doing low paying gigs and I was happy to. And then Colby had already built, his own business, his portfolio and all of those things. So him bringing me on, I learned a ton from him for one. And then I was happy to just, start out doing low cost edits for him and just build from there. And once I did, I'm sure he really started liking my edits and we just built, a big
Kept you
portfolio
around.
from there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think anybody starting out, there's those people that expect some big ticket costs, but you have to build your portfolio first.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with doing, work for a little bit cheaper or, you got to
Staying humble in it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
That's
there's
for
a
sure.
there's a balance between before you start charging these crazy amounts as a brand new videographer or a
Yeah.
brand new photographer.
That's
So
that's
you have to
very
have
true,
the
yeah.
portfolio to back what you're charging.
Sometimes you get like these, cocky, new, fresh, creatives that are like, "Oh, I'm gonna do
$4,000
all
for a
this," and it's
wedding.
like, well, you
Yeah.
don't have the portfolio for it yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I even know you can even do it? Like, you could be
Yeah.
naturally talented, which is cool, but you still need to build the trust. You need to still
Yeah.
build the repertoire of like who you are as a business person too. So I think that's what I learned as a second was that I built that like, I guess character of coming into the industry and learning how to handle myself. So I think that's what you learn as a second, you
Yeah.
know. And I would assume videos the same. Excuse me, videos the same.
Yeah, and coming in, I brought like a different shooting style that Colby was used to. I think I was able to show him a few things too, and that kind of helped a lot to feel like I had something to offer other than
Right,
just
yeah.
the editing. And of course, his business was super busy, so taking the editing off his hands, it all kind of worked out.
He
You know?
definitely
Yeah.
needed it. Yeah, he does that type of stuff still now. You know.
One of the hardest things for me was to like let go of all of the things that I had to do and just like put it into somebody else's,
To delegate.
Yeah.
delegate.
That
Yes.
took me forever too.
Oh my gosh.
Eventually, I just got kind of swamped with doing all your own edits or doing your edits, doing my edits, and then finally, we both kind of reached out to similar editors. But it was super hard, especially for me actually, because I did it way later. I was like, I don't want to give these up, and I felt like that was one of the best things that I offered to Colby as an individual was just doing my edits. So that was hard to let go of too, honestly. You know,
I mean, I feel like
I had a lot of pride in being a good editor. For him.
Yeah. Well,
So,
because
yeah.
everybody has their style, right? Because that's like every artist has, certain ways they shoot, regardless if it's video or photo. And that's why I feel like it's really hard to let it go because
Yeah.
that's kind of your brand almost. And then you're like, wait, I'm kind of handing my brand to somebody else. And you're like, ooh, I don't know, right? Like that's what's
Exactly.
scary, at least for photo.
Well, I was offended. I remember when he
Video
sent
too,
me like one of
probably.
the best edits ever, and I didn't do it. I'm like, oh fuck. Like somebody else did,
Like,
because
that wasn't me.
I was like, yeah, it's not quite as good as mine. And then he found a really good editor. I'm like, oh damn, these are better than mine. So I was like, yeah, it's time to let it go. I can send mine to them too. Yeah, that was hard. It was a hard step for sure.
Yeah.
And with anybody growing their business, like Colby's done, more than a lot of individuals that I know, delegating is, it's a hard jump to make.
Yeah.
And you have to let go of something that you hold on to so personally.
Yeah.
Letting go of your
it's
photos
you.
or video,
Yeah.
it's the same.
And I think when you do make that jump, you gotta have faith and you gotta give it time, just because like it might not be perfect the first go around, but you're giving yourself the break with that responsibility, passing it on to somebody else. So it's almost like you have to train them in a sense.
Well, good
if they're doing it.
communication, I probably when you work with an editor more and more, they understand your style. So then again, you feel a little more comfortable and you're still trying to stick to your brand at the same time, because regardless of everybody who has a camera in their hand, you are still different than the other photographer or videographer, regardless of how many there are out there.
Well, yeah, there's so many different aspects to it. There's the product that you produce, but then there's also, what kind of personality do you bring to the shoot? What kind of preparation do you put into the shoot?
Exactly.
What kind of gear do you have for the shoot? Like how much do you invest into your knowledge and your equipment and your gear? So it's just a lot of different variables.
So
Energy is super important for sure. Because if we don't have good energy when we go into a wedding or a king's day, especially, then we're just awkward flies on the walls with cameras. And that's no fun.
You got to
for
have that
clients.
personal connection with your clients too, and
Well, yeah, a lot of people don't like being on camera. You're usually the bad guy.
well, we can kind of feel it a little bit.
Like,
We're trying to get used to being
either
on camera.
people love you or hate you
Yeah.
when you walk into a room. It's like, oh, hey, take my picture.
Yeah.
Or it's like, better not take my fucking picture.
Yeah.
I have older ladies just like, don't take my picture. Like, I'm watching you. I'm going to
But I
take it
am
when you're not
gonna take your
looking.
picture. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's always when I'm most proud, is when we go to a wedding. I bring the best energy I can, and I know that they had a lot of fun with me. And then, there's been times where they came to you afterwards like, dude, that guy was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Yeah.
And those are my best days. When I come in, and if I ever bring bad energy, I feel bad. I want to make sure they have a great day. They've spent all this money. It's supposed to, it's going to be one of the most important days of their life. And I want to make sure that I contribute to that.
Well, it's kind of like when you walk through the door for them, you can't really let anything else get in your way. It's literally about them, right? So it's like, even if you had a shitty morning, you got to lock that shit down, because you got to make sure they are having the best day of their lives.
And I've met terrible, quiet second shooters that just make them feel super awkward.
Right.
But that's more along the lines of when you hire an assistant or someone less experienced. And that's, that could be a bad thing.
And then hopefully for that second shooter, if they are like that, it's a little bit of a learning experience for them too, because
some of them never grow out of it though. There's very quiet second shooters, and
you can't do that. You can't be quiet like that. You have to be able to like assert yourself and basically know how to help the lead photographer or videographer, right? Like you want to be almost making moves before they even ask you to make the move. So I think that's what makes a good second, is being able to literally be
intuitive. They kind of know, like, we're almost done here.
Yeah.
Colby's got his gear over there all strewed about. Let me go start picking it up, and then like we can.
Yeah.
Or like, let me just help. Use my brain.
And don't be
figure
afraid
out.
to ask questions. Especially if you guys are first working together. Like you have to be maybe that annoying little second shooter that's like, do you want me to go do this? Do you want me to do that? Da-da-da. And eventually, if you're paying attention and you're listening, you'll get it. You'll be intuitive, like you said.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I have been guilty of being that quiet one too as well. So
I think
just
when
feel
I met you,
feel
you
bad
were
when it
super
happens.
quiet, and I was like,
Yeah.
he's
And you
still
have
getting
to
the job done.
grow into
But
something
yeah.
stronger, especially when you
Yeah.
take the lead on a lot of shoots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have been guilty for sure.
I just
wanted
love
to throw that out there.
I just love getting positive feedback from my clients.
Yeah.
Saying how much they love working with Anthony. Especially
And that
groom,
matters,
all the
right?
guys.
You want to
Yeah.
make sure your team is, representing you to the best.
Make them feel comfortable, because they're going to be with us all day. So like, do you want to feel comfortable, or do you want to like, man, I can't wait for this day to be over?
Yeah. Or get
No.
this weird guy out of my room. Or,
Yeah,
or
you
girl.
don't want that. You
Yeah,
don't
or
want
whatever. Yeah.
And of course, if you're building your own brand, how many of those clients are going to bring other clients
That's right.
into it?
Word of mouth
based
is
on
very
their,
big.
Exactly.
I think especially when you're first starting off, it's a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Keen says, especially like
Yeah.
if the family sees the videographer
that
is doing
niche,
a good
yeah.
job, they want that card, they want that information, and they want to hire them as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, word of mouth is very powerful.
Yes, sir.
I do have a question for you though.
Yes.
What is your favorite thing when it comes to working with Colby?
I I feel like I'm massaging him or whatever. No, yeah, no, no homo. No.
We're gonna
There's
keep
a
that
better
in there.
there's a better term. Well, I wanted to keep it PG. I thought I was gonna say I felt like I'm jerking him off, but fucking.
Well, we could
Is
put
this a
things
PG
explicit.
podcast?
No, we could put it explicit.
In all true honesty, there's been in the last 7 years of working with him, there's been many times where we're just on our way to a job,
Yeah.
and I've had to thank him and just tell him my appreciation. My favorite thing about working with him is, his energy. Anytime we go to a shoot, it's been a lot of fun, and I learned so much from him, and seeing someone do something that they love so much. Like I said, yeah, yeah.
Butter his biscuits, Anthony.
Yeah, I know. Butter in his biscuit is the right term. But there's been a lot of times where I stopped you on the way to a shoot, after a shoot. I'm just like, man, I really appreciate it. And especially because before I really dove into business, I didn't have the same pride that comes with owning your own thing and knowing that you created something.
Knowing
And
your worth.
he
Yeah.
helped me build that. And I could have done that with someone else that didn't have his personality, that didn't have his work ethic, his energy, his positivity. And it's just, like I said, this isn't just me saying it on here. I've told him this on the way to quite a few shoots, and it's been a great experience. And yeah, very grateful
I
for
didn't
that.
pay him to
And
say that.
glad-
Yes.
No, and I'm glad that I had something to offer as well.
Yeah.
So
that's really
that's
nice
been
to
good.
hear, you know?
Yeah.
Colby.
Well, you've been a big part of my career and my business.
I always
so
like to hear this stuff.
I really appreciate all your hard work and your help and your knowledge that you bring to the table. So we've definitely created some really cool content, and with that content comes all the great memories. So
Definitely.
I appreciate our friendship and our brotherhood.
Yeah, our
we go.
brotherhood or bromance.
Yeah, our bromance, bro. What's
Well,
up,
it all
bro?
started with one job, right? So even if you guys were still
Well, it
new
all
back
started with
then-
one Donnie,
Yeah.
a mutual friend,
Yeah.
and he needed help with the music video. Donnie was like, "Oh, hit up Colby." I guess it worked out really good.
Yeah.
You liked the content that I shot for you,
Yeah.
and then it kind of just blossomed from there. I think it went from one music video to 2 music videos to kind of getting to know each other a little bit,
Mhm.
and then I think it's when we started doing the whole wedding thing.
Yeah.
Second shooting and just growing.
Well, just good impressions from the first time around. Good vibes, you know? It's the energy that
Yeah.
you both probably
And I
had
think it's safe
where
to
you keep that
say,
friendship.
yeah, sorry, I think it's safe
Yeah.
to say after, years of doing what you were doing with the wedding edits, I think even just diving in as a new editor, I think I became one of your favorite editors. And you had a lot of weddings at the time, but the reason why he kept me on is because my edits were, they were good and he was happy with them.
Yeah, you
So
worked on 'em.
I had that to offer and that felt really good.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
I'd rather put money in the homie's pocket than somebody else's. So
Not if the homie sucked.
not if the homie sucks.
Well,
Not if the edits were terrible.
like you said, even if you had 1 or 2 that were bad, at least you were able to pick up on what to do better, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you had the potential, right? Some people, don't get it. Like you said, they kind of just stay in that same way of doing things and not growing. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think maybe to end this second episode, what is your favorite wedding food?
Oh my God. Let's go with Colby first on this one. Yeah.
Colby first? Oh no.
Because everyone kind of knows me for something at
Well,
events.
okay, so
I don't even have
Wait,
to
wait,
say
wait.
it. You guys all
if
know what I
we
used to
can't
do.
find Anthony,
Yes, this is what I was about to go into.
where's
Look for the
Anthony?
pastry table.
Where's Anthony?
Look for the
He's
pastry
gonna be at the
table.
pastry table or getting some coffee.
Yeah.
So my
Paying for that
favorite
now.
wedding food.
That's how I remember you. You like
And I eat,
always
I eat
eat.
healthy 7 days a week. And then whenever we do a job,
I was like-
I fall apart.
We've actually told the venue that there was 3 videographers, so Anthony could have 2 plates of food.
several
Really?
times. Several times, yeah.
But I just remember being like, wow, you can eat.
Dude, just a pile of food.
Well, I usually fast most of the day. I eat one meal and it's way too much at weddings. I have food FOMO.
Well,
So
yeah.
I've been known for
Food
that.
FOMO, got
There's
to get it
sometimes
all.
there's just really good food, and then sometimes there's just like,
The Persian Mexican wedding, that food, ooh,
oh, I
Remember
bet
that
you
one?
that was good, especially that combination.
that was amazing.
Yeah, that was good.
We're all just reminiscing on it
Yeah.
now.
I honestly like the. What was like the best cake? Desserts? There's been so many things that I've eaten and shoved.
I mean,
in,
I've
like-
had my fair share of some dry cakes.
It's been a lot of those.
Yeah. We don't want to talk about those.
But I still eat like way
You
too
can't
much.
forget
of them.
those though; they're like traumatizing a little bit.
Now I'm hungry.
The wedding that you and I shot recently, they had an ice cream cake. I thought that was kind of cool. They had like still a cake to cut into, and then they shared that among the guests, and then they had their little ice cream cake.
They did. They had a personal
Yeah.
cake.
So I thought that was kind of cool. We didn't get to try it though, but it looked good.
Are we still waiting for me to answer a specific wedding food? I'm just
I
gonna
feel
go
like there should be something that stands out.
filet mignon from that one wedding.
How about the wedding where
had
they
filet
all
mignon?
had like
Damn.
filet mignon or $70 steaks and they gave us rotisserie chicken? We're so
That
disappointed.
was at Park Winters.
I guess we have to be careful about which venues we shout out on.
I don't know, because I've seen other podcasts. They'll kind of say,
So disappointed.
The
It
chicken
might-
was still good, but it was like just like boiled
Like,
chicken
oh, we're
with
getting
no
steaks.
seasoning.
We got thrown into a back room with rotisserie chicken and like potatoes.
I mean, it's a gorgeous venue. Never seen it in person, but
I've
seen
shot
it
some stuff
online.
there.
Yeah, you've shot
Really
some
pretty.
things there.
That was when they had a couple towers or something on it, right? Like there was a couple different buildings and towers.
It's like a big property where they have like
Is that like a
multiple
watchtower, the one
houses,
I'm
and they
thinking of?
had
rotating, or not rotating, but like the staircases and a couple.
Yeah.
It was nice.
it looks nice.
We've done so many. It's gonna be bad if we have some B-roll of me like sneaking snacks through that part about the food. Here's
Should
Anthony
have been
again.
more vigilant about recording your ass.
We
Just
just a decent amount.
Yeah.
Of
like,
B-roll.
by crikey, what do we have here?
I mean, I definitely get the whole where you thought you were gonna get one meal, and then you end up getting not the same meal, and it's like, really?
Nobody was more disappointed than me at all of those instances.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was another wedding. It's always usually with the filet mignon, and then like the help gets like a crusty burger
Yeah.
or something.
What are we allowed to mention? Which one was the? It was like on the.
I would just say don't mention the wedding couples. name.
Yeah. No, there was a seafront one at Lobster something. Remember, all they would give us was like bread. They wouldn't serve us till last.
Oh, I remember
We were
you
doing
coming
like
home and
English
telling
impressions.
me about that one.
Do you like bread? Like this.
Oh yeah, when there was all the
Do you
cats.
like
There was
bread?
all the cats in the back.
That's what reminded you. Yeah. And I mean, there's certain locations that will serve us last, and then we're just like, we got to starve for the rest of the day.
That's
You guys-
a
I don't know if
good
you guys have
point
talked
that you
about
make
that.
right there, because I've been at some venues where they would want me to like get fed like way after everybody, and like
And-
that's not
and
the
we're
best
working
way to
for-
do it.
We eat when the
16
bride
hours.
eats.
Yeah. And then you expect me to like scarf down my food to then jump into the next thing on whatever it is on the timeline. And I'm like, no, like I'm not. I'm like, I kind of let the bride and groom go
Met
first, of
some
course.
real
Let
Karens.
the-
They're
let
like,
the
no.
couple go first.
You're eating
Yeah.
after all the guests.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, by then, like the bride and groom are going to be walking around at tables that we're supposed
And
to be
you have
recording.
to get some of that. Yeah.
And now we're going to be eating. Like,
hmm
it makes no sense.
I've
We
been-
got to make sure there's enough food.
Yeah. I've been to one wedding where we ate a little bit and then went to the next thing. And then we ate a little bit and then we had to go back. So I was eating in like small little portions. And they would just bring us the small little things.
No, I
throughout
just
the
power down
evening.
3 plates at once.
Yeah,
That's
no,
my
they wouldn't do
strategy.
that. And I was like, can I just have all the plates now? And they're like, no, they're not ready. And I'm like, well, and the room where they kept feeding us was so far away. And I was like, running back to eat, running back to go shoot the speeches, and then running to do the dances. And it was like,
The best
just
is
give me all the food.
when you have the servers that got your back.
Oh, yeah.
There's some servers that don't even pay you a bit of attention. but
Yeah.
then there's some servers that are like, yo,
We know you've been
you
here
know,
all
so
day.
we've seen you
Yeah.
hustling. Like, here you go.
What's the meme? There's like a meme for when videographers don't get served and they
Oh,
end
I
up
think
like
I know what you're talking
destroying the
about, yeah.
SD cards.
Right?
Yeah.
I think
don't feed
every
us.
every media team's probably share that with each other by this point.
Oh, gosh.
Fuck
Yeah.
around, find out.
Although that is somewhat of an actual story. The bride and groom didn't pay for a photographer's vendor meal, and he destroyed the photos, or he wouldn't give them the photos, or he like walked out. I couldn't remember the full story, but it had to do with something not being fed.
he
I
did
thought I had full
crazy.
FOMO. That person.
Yeah, he got mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't getting no cake. You ain't getting no footage.
It was a story. I'm sure other photographers, if you chime in on this one, because it happened probably last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Wasn't me.
I would
No.
never do
Yeah,
anything
So
like that.
I have done
He was
weddings
so
where I
wild.
didn't get fed because it was just a timeline issue. And what I did in that instance is I always try to bring some sort of food.
Yeah.
So like Kathleen and I, when we would go to these weddings, we would
Beefsteak.
pack like either like some beef sticks or like sandwiches. She would bring like salads, and we would do our own little dinner break real quick because we just couldn't get the venue's food. So
Andy's
that's
beef
also
sticks.
a little tip for other photographers: bring your own food
Yeah.
if you can. Sometimes.
Most places.
Not
are
if you
accommodating.
can. Fucking do it.
Yeah.
Bring your own food, damn it.
Throw throw a granola bar in your camera bag or something, because you might not get to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, episode 2.
Yeah.
What are we doing for episode 3?
I don't know. I would like to bring somebody else on, or
Is that our mentors?
we could
I'll
see
bring
if they're
on
available.
I'll bring on Bill and you'll bring on
Yeah. Because I think, unless you want to know more about us, we did a pretty deep dive, I feel like, on our first episode.
No, we didn't. A deep dive into what? We just scratched the surface.
Well, I'm talking about like how we started. I don't know
Scratched the surface.
I don't know what other way to explain how I started. Mine's pretty straightforward. Maybe you have more
I think it's just
stories.
more or less the stories, yeah.
Yeah.
We've barely told any stories, but you know how we started.
Yeah. But I don't have like crazy stories. My mentor might have some to tell.
Yeah. We'll relive the moments of our younger years. Well, my mentor, yeah, we'll figure it out. But my mentor came in, it wasn't really my mentor. He didn't like teach me. It's like I already knew a whole bunch. And then we kind of worked together on
You still
some
learn
stuff.
from him. Yeah.
little
A
bit,
mentor
yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean somebody that comes in the beginning. They could be in different aspects of your life, throughout your life.
Okay, that's right. Then
Yeah.
yes, he is a mentor. So then maybe we'll do that. And then also the wedding date. It's the end of the episode.
Yeah. We finally figured it out. It's going to be September 5th of 2026. It's that Labor Day weekend. We did that because we like the idea of everybody being able to kind of have that 4-day weekend off and enjoy it. You can camp at this particular venue. So, yeah.
I need to write that down.
Bat Rager.
Yeah. Although I feel like after 10, I'm like, I need like a power nap or something.
For your wedding?
Yeah.
No.
She's
It's gonna be a
tripping.
cocaine wedding. Come on now. Energy.
A what wedding?
Nothing.
I couldn't-
No, first form energy drink. Wedding.
That's first form protein powder.
Yes. Meat sticks
Oh, wait.
and
Now I
energy
feel like I-
drinks.
Figured out what you said.
She found out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, make sure you like and subscribe. We started our new YouTube channel, so that's where this video is going to be posted. Anthony, make sure you follow him on
Yeah,
his social
where can
media.
we
We'll
find you,
drop his
Anthony?
information if you want to plug yourself.
So Perseverance Films and Media on YouTube, Perseverance Films on Instagram. And I have been making some changes, so it may be under Perseverance. Damn it. I just changed a couple of things. All right.
Click one of his links below.
We'll figure
We'll
it
have
out.
some, one of those.
Perseverance
names.
Films and Media on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, Colby, where can we find you?
Instagram, CB_photography916. And my YouTube channel is Colby JSB, but behind the lens is where this video is going to be at. I'll throw it on mine too, just because I can use it for podcast content.
Yeah, for sure.
If you guys need a podcast, let me know. We got this awesome studio. So
Yeah.
thanks for watching. If you watched till the end, that's great. You're awesome. Give yourself a pat on the back.
You're supposed to
And,
say, where can they find me?
Liz,
Left
where can
her
they find
out.
you?
Just
He did
left
this the
you in the
second
cold.
time.
This is the second time, see? We're still working out the
Okay,
kinks.
so the wedding's getting rescheduled now.
He keeps forgetting about me.
Sorry.
We go to the store. he
Enough
doesn't know
about
where I
me.
am.
Let's talk about my beautiful fiance.
Okay.
This is where you plug yourself.
Oh, I didn't know if you actually said it.
So Liz, where can we find your content?
I just said it, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you like actually said it, like a clean take of it. So you're
So
good.
we're cutting some of this out, I take it? We're
I don't know,
cutting some of
maybe.
this out, I
think this is
guess.
all going
I
on
think
the
we should
bloopers.
keep
This
it.
is perfect.
I like it.
Then you should have ran with what I just said.
I didn't know if you actually had a clean, like, because we could keep it for
Well, now
other
you know it
videos.
was clean, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, so you can find me when Colby can't find me at Elizabeth Dyer Photography. I have an Instagram and Facebook, no YouTube other than this one for Behind the Lens. But yes, thank you guys. Stay tuned for episode 3. We'll figure out who we're going to have on. Hopefully our mentors. And if not, you never know what's coming next.
Thanks for having me,
Kitties.
guys. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for coming.